All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're unpacking the anatomy of corporate greed, and we're going to do it by looking at the psychology of infinite accumulation. It's an incredibly fascinating topic because we're going to take ancient fables, stories literally designed thousands of years ago to warn us about human nature, and apply them directly to modern sports economics. Specifically, we're looking at the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup. It's going to be a really eye-opening journey connecting ancient wisdom straight to today's market realities. So here's a question for you to kick off this explainer. How much is enough? I mean, it's something philosophers, economists, and basically everyone has wrestled with since the dawn of civilization. For thousands of years, human cultures have used storytelling to warn us about one very specific psychological trap, and that's the illusion that infinite accumulation brings infinite happiness. And as you'll see, we are watching that exact illusion play out in real time today. To really understand what's happening in the market right now, we need to look back at a fable popularized by the ancient Indian mystic Sri Ramakrishna. It's the story of the 7 jars of gold. In it, there's this perfectly content barber who is suddenly gifted 6 jars completely full of pristine gold. But there is a catch. He's also given a 7th jar that is only half full. Instead of just enjoying his incredible new wealth, he becomes entirely obsessed with filling that final half-empty jar. He curtails his family's basic needs, he sells all his belongings, he literally starves them, and eventually he goes mad and ruins his entire life. It's only at the very end that he realizes the 7th jar was a cursed trap that could never be filled, feeding solely on his own endless greed. And that pairs perfectly with another story you've probably heard, Aesop's fable of the goose that laid the golden eggs. Here, we have a farmer with a magical bird that lays a single, solid gold egg every single day. That is a steady, highly sustainable daily fortune. But impatience takes over. Convinced there must be this massive lump of gold hidden inside the bird, he slaughters it to extract all the wealth at once. And, of course, he finds absolutely nothing inside. He completely destroys his future just for the desire of a massive, immediate lump sum. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what do these old fairy tales have to do with today's economy? Well, these aren't just stories we tell kids before bed. They are a precise, almost clinical diagnostic blueprint for what is happening to the biggest sporting event on the planet right now, the FIFA World Cup 2026. The actual mechanics of human greed haven't changed in millennia. They've just scaled up. We went from rural farmers to multi-billion-dollar global sports organizations. Let's look at exactly how this applies. Think about it. FIFA already possesses its own 6 full jars. They are one of the wealthiest, most insulated organizations on Earth. We're talking multi-billion-dollar global broadcast rights, massive corporate sponsorships locked in for decades, and historically high ticket demand driven by an incredibly loyal global fan base. Under normal conditions, they don't need to compromise their ecosystem at all to survive. Their existing wealth is overflowing. They have those 6 full jars safely locked away. But as we learned from the barber, 6 full jars are never enough when the obsession with the 7th jar takes hold. To fill its own unfillable 7th jar, FIFA drastically expanded the 2026 tournament format to a massive 48 teams. And let's be real, this wasn't just about including more countries for the love of the game. This was about satisfying corporate mandates for endless, infinite growth. They decided to chase that elusive half-empty jar, fundamentally altering their primary asset just to do it. And the market has definitely noticed. Journalists and market analysts reporting for Deutsche Welle or DW explicitly stated, quote, FIFA got greedy. That's not just a casual opinion. That was the conclusion from analysts investigating FIFA's highly calculated push into massive, untapped consumer markets like India and China. They pointed out that instead of nurturing the sport organically, FIFA started treating billions of passionate, everyday sports fans not as a community to protect, but basically as an unfillable container to pour money into. Which brings us right back to our golden goose. For decades, the working-class fan has been the absolute lifeblood of international football. They provided the steady, reliable daily wealth and the unmatched energy that makes the sport what it is. But for the 2026 tournament in North American host cities, we are quite literally seeing the slaughter of that goose. FIFA completely abandoned the traditional fair access pricing models that protected the fans who actually give the game its soul and instead opted for a hyper-aggressive approach. The mechanics of this are absolutely ruthless. FIFA deployed hyper-aggressive ticket tiering and automated dynamic pricing algorithms. So instantly, the cost of a standard seat spiked into the thousands of dollars based on demand. This is the literal corporate equivalent of slicing open the goose. Instead of collecting steady revenue over time while preserving the fan ecosystem, they created this high-pressure environment for a single summer extraction. They tried to pull all the wealth out of the North American market instantly, entirely starving the true football household right out of the stadiums. So what happens when corporate greed gets so intense that it starts threatening local economic infrastructure? Well, remember how the barber's madness and extreme behavior eventually caught the eye of the king who had to step in? In modern society, when an organization pushes commerce to the breaking point and disrupts the local economy, we have our own version of the king stepping in to break the spell. And that brings us to the legal reality of market distortion. As reported by Deutsche Welle, New York and New Jersey state prosecutors have officially launched a probe. We are impartially reporting the details here. They are investigating, quote, sky-high ticket prices, potential price gouging, anti-consumer cartels, and hidden fees at venues like MetLife Stadium. So, legal authorities have stepped in. FISA's aggressive pricing didn't just frustrate fans. It triggered massive alarm bells for regional regulators and consumer protection watchdogs. It's fascinating, isn't it? The real tragedy of greed is that it completely distorts your reality. The farmer slaughters his goose expecting a mountain of gold and just finds ordinary anatomy. The barber sacrifices his family for a jar that literally cannot be filled. Aiming for absolute, instant extraction doesn't bring you absolute wealth. It brings market failures. It completely blinds you to the sustainability of what you already possess. And we are watching that reality distortion correct itself in real time right now through a massive market backlash. Less than 30 days out from kickoff, thousands of tickets are just sitting unsold. Because demand was artificially inflated by greed, secondary ticket markets are crashing by nearly 23% in a desperate bid to fill seats. And it's bleeding into the broader tourism ecosystem too. Hotel bookings in major host hubs like Vancouver and Boston are severely underperforming. Average fans are just flat out refusing to be exploited. So now, FIFA is staring down a stark contrast. The goal of absolute extraction brings the very real risk of the ultimate embarrassment. By over-monetizing a passion asset far beyond what the market can bear, they risk breaking the exact magic that made the broadcast valuable in the first place. Think about it. There is a very real threat of rows upon rows of empty seats in massive NFL stadiums being broadcast to billions of viewers globally. It proves that chasing instant wealth can actually destroy the product's fundamental value. Because at the end of the day, football belongs to the people. Bringing our allegorical mirror to a close here, the lesson is crystal clear. Whether you're dealing with a cursed seventh jar of gold, a magical goose, or pricing strategies for a global tournament, infinite extraction always backfires. When a corporate entity treats passion as an unlimited gold mine, they don't double their fortune. They break the engine that made them rich to begin with. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to take away from today's explainer. Will FIFA's relentless pursuit of the seventh jar leave them with nothing but an empty stadium and a dead goose? It is a fascinating, real-world test of ancient warnings about corporate overreach and the timeless consequences of sacrificing long-term sustainability just for an immediate payout. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking questions, keep looking for the structure behind the headlines, and I'll see you in the next explainer.
Getting to the heart of the matter isn't always easy, but here we always look for the essence. Thank you for your time and your curiosity. Subscribe for more answers, and as always, thanks for watching.